Greetings! I'm Tantus Nairavan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome! Today we're going to continue our retrospective of talking about the various anime series, and then using them in your BESM games, using their worlds, or examples of their worlds. So I'm going to go over 3 more animes. All of these are, again, larger animes. I've been doing that for a little. There's not a lot of these short 3 to 4 minute to 12 minute animes. I'll probably add a few more in the next video, but for now I'm going to do a couple more of the larger full episode ones. So what am I going to go over? I'm going to go over Macross Delta, Kuromukuro, and of course Bungou Stray Dogs. We'll start with that one. So Bungou Stray Dogs. This is set in a world where there are people with superpowers, and they work for various organizations, for the law, for the mafia, for the criminals. These people with powers are sort of on the back burner of the world. But our main story revolves around the armed detective agency, an agency that does, of course, detective work, but they all have special abilities. Now, there are a great number of characters, so I didn't want to just point out one main character, but they all have their own abilities, and they all work together, and they do sort of showcase them. Our main character that they sort of revolve around is this were-tiger, and he sort of ends up being the eyes of the audience more than anything, as examples for the other characters in the series, to sort of show them off. Now, this is an action-adventure. They're doing a lot of good battling it out, fighting it out. There's all this sort of going-ons, a lot of action, explosions, combat, gunfights. It's supernatural because a lot of them have special powers. They fight people with special powers. Not only do they have them themselves, but they fight it with it. And it's a detective story, meaning it's got that essence of a detective story, that they're working for a detective agency and they go on things that a lot of detective agencies would do. Now, it doesn't have the full investigations a lot of times. That's not always there, or the mystery, but it does have a little bit of that, so that's why I'm using that word in the genre section. Now, I rate this one a 3. It's a pretty decent series. I enjoy watching it. I just don't jump into it very often is the first thing. Next up, I want to talk about Kuromukuro. Now, this is a sort of sci-fi series, now mecha series too. So about 60 years ago, there was an archaeological dig that found this mysterious mecha in a cube. So we switched now to more modern day, where the UN has been researching these items, and aliens invade. These aliens that sort of have this look and appearance similar to the Oni and other sort of legends in Japanese history. So they are attacking in mecha, and it's up to Yukina and Konosuke. Yukina is the daughter of one of the important people at the UN in the research section, and Konosuke is a samurai that has been in sort of a stasis with the cube since the samurai era, when apparently these aliens first attacked. So the two of them end up piloting the mecha that was found in the archaeological dig and battling against these aliens, and that's the main plot of the storyline, and they've sort of been going off of that, and interesting things have been occurring with that and sort of the mecha attacks that occur. So this is another action-adventure series. You got mecha fights, you got battles, you got battling them out as the persons. Konosuke's a samurai. He can bring out his sword and try to sword fight things too. It's a mecha anime. There's giant robots. Not only is there Konosuke's and the aliens' mechas, but the UN has built some of their own mechas to help out. They're not as good as Konosuke and Yukina's mecha, but they still do the same sort of job of helping out when necessary. I would also call this a sci-fi series. It's got alien attacks, it's got some technology which is beyond human understanding, that sort of thing. It's got a little bit of that science fiction feel to it. Now, I rate this one a 4. It's definitely a very good series, and I enjoy watching it, and I do put it pretty high on my priority list of ones that I'm going to watch. Now, last one I want to talk about today is Macross Delta. Now, this is the latest Macross series that come out. There have been a lot of Macross animes, and this one, in the storyline of the world, takes place after the last Macross series. Now, in this sort of corner of the galaxy, there's this VAR syndrome, which when people get it, it drives them berserk. It tends to affect a lot of soldiers and stuff, which causes a lot of problems. So here enters Valkyrie, which is this group of singers, idol singers, who have the ability to calm people under the effect of the VAR syndrome. And they are accompanied by Delta Squadron, a group of pilots which protect them in case of battle and assist them when, trying to calm these people, because a lot of times they have military technology and are fighting back. They have their own vehicles that they're fighting in. So we have 2 main characters I want to talk about. There's Hyatt, who's a wanderer who's been sort of wandering the galaxy and ends up entering into the pilot program to become one of the members of Delta Squad. And Freya, who's of this alien race called the Windermerian, who have these interesting abilities but have very short lifespans. And she's trying to become a member of Valkyrie. So it ends up the two of them sort of joining into this fight and kind of going in and finding the overall plot of what's really behind this VAR syndrome, and that it's just not like a disease outbreak, that there's something causing it from behind. Now this is again a mecha anime. It's got mecha fights. They have their airplanes which transform into robots and have an in-between form, so they do have that normal sort of the Valkyrie, as they're called. This has been a staple of a lot of Macrosses. It's been the basic thing. It's the jet plane which eventually becomes a robot and switches back. Now it's a sci-fi. It's got alien races, it's set in space, it's got this entire like basic storyline that's been existing over all these series that have been out, that they've maintained the order between them very well. But this is also an idol/musical anime because it's all about this idol group. It focuses on them. A lot of Macross series have this essence of music behind them, even since the first one, where the one main character, Lin Min Mei, her song helped alleviate the enemy and sort of confuse them and draw them to chaos. Music plays a big part of the Macross experience, and, you know, hence it still comes in here. So those are the 3 series I wanted to review right now. In the next episode, which will come out right after this one, I'll talk about using these 3 worlds in your BESM game. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to say, leave them in the comments below. Please leave a like. It's a good way of showing your support for the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe. We're always looking for more citizens. If you think of anybody that might be interested in this video or learn something from it, just share it with them. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.